So when I turned pro, I put together a syndicate, which was the ultimate sports associate of 5 businessmen. And the one thing through my career as a professional that was very interesting to me was the boxing pundits and even people who didn't know boxing, whatever, they had this, they come up with this point that I was too nice to be a champion, too nice for a person. I didn't have what was termed the killer instinct. And that when I finally got in there with someone, whoever, that, you know, he's got a lot of talent, he's got all that, and, you know, the amateurs, you know, that amateur success and all that stuff, when he gets to the pros, it's going to be just too much for him. And my whole thing about boxing, what I love about boxing, I love boxing because from the science, the artistic value of it. I love the beginning, the middle, and the end. I love how we have the different styles of boxing. You have the East Coast style, you have the West Coast style, you have the European style. I love how I can beat you, but I can't beat you, but you can beat him. Styles make fights. That's interesting to me. But I didn't understand why I had to admit that I had to be an a-hole, or why I had to walk around mean and tough to have to put a number on someone. If I've been winning all this time against these various styles and in opposition, why would it change? That doesn't mean that as long as I kept my focus and learn and continue to grow as a performer. Why not? So I would win my fights, and then people would say, oh, he won, they won, and I always go, the but factor. But, you know, he could have did this. But I just kept winning. The more it would go to each fight, they say, okay, we're going to see now what's going to happen. He's fighting so-and-so. Let's see now. I went from, which is rare, I went from 8 rounds to 12 rounds. I didn't go 10 rounds to 10-round fights. I went 8 rounds to a 12. I skipped it 10 rounds, it leading to a 12-round fight. And interestingly, I was known as the guy who was the 12-round, was the guy who gets stronger as the fight goes on. Now what's interesting, very, very interesting about that is, remember what I just said earlier, 3 minutes, 3 rounds, I thought as being like capital punishment. Just the thought of it. My mental focus thought in that round. Now I'm the guy who wished to fight to 15 rounds again. Now I'm the guy that's coming on strong. But not only that, think about it. I'm the person who's 30 pounds for each fight. I'm the person who eats and drinks once a day for 30 days before a fight. I'm the guy who wears a wetsuit twice a day during his workouts. All these things that you would think that people say, oh, he's drained, he has nothing left. He should be getting tired, he should wilt. As the rounds go, it doesn't even make sense. As the rounds go further in the stages, later stages, the latter stages, I just start to tire. But it was the complete opposite. I would get stronger. It's that mental focus that started to come. I started to embrace the fact of being a performer. I started loving being in rehearsals. See, notice what I just said. I put it into from a concert standpoint. Rehearsals, performances, concerts. I was really starting to become ready to answer the bell or take it to another level. For my 11th pro fight, 2 days before my 11th pro fight, my father dies of a heart attack. My father was an individual who just, like I said, he was very supportive, and the whole thing through this whole journey was my father, when I used to visualize, I always think about my dad. Think about, oh gosh, this is going to be cool. I'm the champion of the world, whatever, my dad's going to be there. You get a call that your father's, now dead from a heart attack 2 days before your 11th pro fight. What do? Immediately everyone started canceling and said, oh, we'll cancel, everyone was thinking that's not, I'm not saying that, I'm talking about for me personally. First off, I knew my father would want me to go on. Second, this is my way that I answer the bell. And it's by doing, boxing has been my Calgon. It's my escapism from sometimes the real world. It's a way that there's something about it. I'm sure you all feel the same way when you're out playing soccer. Sometimes you go, damn, life is crazy. I got this going on X, Y, and Z. But once you get out there and do your thing, it's escapism. You start to become consumed by that. And you start doing your thing, you're in the moment. And then, as I always say, you come back to it and you go, oh yeah, here's the real world again. So I won that fight. And then I grieved as far as losing my father. But it also became a call for me as far as to say, I'm still going to carry this on. I became even more determined to get that. Went through a period where it just stings at me. There's so many episodes in my boxing career as a professional, I started to develop and start to embrace what could be that tried to stall what could happen. Got into a relationship with a girl who I shouldn't have been in a relationship with. It could have been career suicide in a sense. I went through a period where I said, okay, well, what is he going to do now? Once the relationship was off and broken up, I was broken hearted by it. I really was. It took a while for me to come back and recharge, but I did. A lot quicker than I did when we were in the Thriller stuff. A lot quicker, because I wanted to get back. Now, my attitude was, I use these naysayers, haters, negative episodes as inspiration, motivation there yet, to get me here and see myself triumphant while the naysayer is sitting there going, damn. That's what I always say. Sometimes my love for winning, or is it to make sure that the people that want to see me lose read the paper and go, so finally I get to the point where 1995 rolls around. And now I've got one belt, but I come into a fight now and I'm 3.5 to 1 underdog. I've gotten all the way to mandatory. When I say mandatory, I didn't have the situation. I came with my own syndicate at first. A lot of times, because of the political aspects of boxing, you see some people, I was ranked by all 3 major sanctioning bodies. And I didn't have a promoter at the time, Don King. I didn't have a promoter named Bob Aaron. I didn't have any of the big 3 people that name would get me ranked by others. So that means I had to really have worked my tail off to be ranked by all 3 major sanctioning bodies and not be aligned with one of the major big 3. But by doing it my way, when I was a mandatory, now Don, DK as it's called, wanted my services. He had wanted it a long time ago. I wasn't ready for him. But when it was time, because he had all 3 belt holders, so it was 3.5 to 1 underdog. I remember an article that was written here, and it was by Jerry McGee, and I don't even know why he did this. I read the article and it said, now it was very nice, and it said, Ultimate Fighter or Flash in the Pan. And I read that and I go, Ultimate Fighter or Flash in the Pan? I hadn't lost a single fight, amateur or pro, in 6 years. I've beaten everyone that put up, against me. I was ranked number 1 by 2 major sanctioning bodies, ranked by all 3 major sanctioning bodies. How could that be, or how could I be a flash in the pan? Not only that, here I am a local, native San Diegan. You're a local staff writer. Why would you even try to drown me with negativity? Why would you even, instead of celebrating it's not like I've done anything. It's not like I've been this jerk. I've been nothing but kind. Why would you try to drown me down further as far as my image? And not celebrate at least what I'm trying to attempt to do. That's when I start putting, this is what I mean as far as putting in my mind when people are trying to drown me. I'm an uplifting person. I try to uplift people when they feel like they're, down. Uplift them, pull them out. I call myself the emotional AAA. When something happens, you call me. And then I come with some positive reinforcement, positive nourishment, whatever, some points of light that can help you and aid you to help get you through. That goes back to the teammate, being a U.S. teammate. That goes back to all that stuff that I was telling you about. That's why I was our team captain.